Hey, it's Romy here. Welcome to the channel. This is the February reading for the sign of Taurus. So if you're a Taurus sun, rising or moon, this is a general reading, but it may resonate for you. If you'd like to go ahead and support my work, you can join me for the extended reading. The description box below will hold the links for you to find that. You can also contact me via my website, romywyser.com, or join me in my membership group via Patreon or my Facebook page. So thanks for being here. Please make sure that you are subscribed and drop me a like and a comment if the reading resonates for you, Taurus. Let's go ahead and see what's coming out in February for you. Okay, Taurus, let's go ahead and get started. We've selected two cards to open your reading. The first is your guide card for the month ahead from the major arcana. It's the Wheel of Fortune. The second is your gift card for the month ahead. It's the card of wisdom. I'm working with the ideas of the guide and the gift in personal intuitive readings that you can find more information about on my website, the 2020 Soul Journey and Journey to Love. But in the context of February for you, Taurus, Wheel of Fortune is really opening up a new path, right? It's reaching a point of change, almost shifting you into a new paradigm. I really like this energy to open up the month for you because it does signify that there are blessings ahead for you. I think what's interesting is, for me, there's an energy that's coming through with Wheel of Fortune of you really not being fully in control of all the ways that certain situations are going to unfold this month, and perhaps some things are going to come up that are going to feel fairly unexpected for you. But I do see this to the positive, and what's important, because as a sign, you know, you've got that beautiful earthy energy and you like to be in control, you like to know where you're at. And I think right now, particularly when we have a month that's set to bring in a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces and Aquarius, we are working with an energy that you have to surrender into somewhat. But here's where your gift is really important. What are you being gifted? The wisdom. And I think there is like a quality that's coming up for me for February. For Taurus, energy that is really profound. You know, I think you have experienced so much in the last few weeks and months that's really helped you to philosophize in a different way. You know, there's a lot of deep thinking that's taken place, and I think what's come out of that is incredibly profound, and I think you're going to be showing up for yourself and other people in that capacity very much in the month of February. And I think really when we look at the guide of the Wheel of Fortune, you're probably going to have the opportunity to do that, as there are going to be certain circumstances that are going to be out of your control, and how you choose to deal with them and how that shows up for you is going to show you where you've really allowed so much of the growth to take place, where you've allowed yourself to honor that journey that you've already been through. That card of wisdom also for me, very linking into the Piscean energy. We have the mermaid and the fish here. So talking about going with the flow and allowing that emotional landscape to rise to the surface and see what it has to teach you, because there will be beautiful nuggets of information, realizations and epiphanies that take place as that Wheel of Fortune delivers in some karmic blessings for you, and some real positive adjustments and changes that I think many of you have been waiting for. So let's go ahead and see what's coming out in your main spread. So on the 3rd of February, Mercury moves into the sign of Pisces. It's activating into your 11th house, Taurus. So, you know, we're working with the energy of the collective, groups, friendships in particular. We open up your reading with Page of Cups, a water energy. Again, just really highlighting the fact that I think it is set to be quite a sensitive month, but I feel like you are prepared and ready to somewhat face whatever comes your way, because I think many of you have already seen where there's been huge adjustments and where life has turned on its axis. You've had to be open and prepared for that radical shift. And you know, with Uranus in your sign for the next few years, I think many of you are looking to revolutionize your life in so many different ways, you know. But the sensitivity that comes through with the Page of Cups for me suggests that you are ready to be a little bit more tender with yourself. You're ready to listen in to the intuitive hits that are coming forward really strongly. When Mercury does go retrograde, it's going to be in its shadow period right from the start of the month, moves retrograde on the 17th right through to the 4th of March in the sign of Pisces. So perhaps for some of you it will be hitting into key friendships and relationships as well as it activates that 11th house for you. Yeah, High Priestess, this deep, profound wisdom that I think is coming forward from you, I would want to be around Taurus energy in February, because I think what they have to say, I really want to listen to, because it's based on everything that you've been through, the experience, but there's this higher wisdom that's also being kind of downloaded. I think that powerful eclipse energy at the start of the year has revealed to you something that you're really ready to embrace and to start to implement. All of the outer planets still in Capricorn and activating that 9th house for you. So very visionary, really testing your faith. But I think this is where you're getting the opportunity to actually show yourself and others how it's changed you and what you intend to do to honor that. High Priestess energy for me as well, kind of linking into that very Piscean energy. So where do we need to go deep? Where do we need to reflect and trust in ourselves? And really, when you're presented with a set of circumstances that you can't control on the external, we don't have the capacity to be able to dictate how other people are going to respond or what they're going to do next, but we can control how we choose to respond to them. And I think, okay, gosh, 6 of Cups, another water energy coming through. So I think with retrograde, there's definitely going to be some revisiting of communication and connections. I think you're looking to tap into almost that inner child quality as well within you, trying to remember what it feels like to have more of a lightness, more of a playfulness. We talked last month about restrictions being lifted, and there's a continuation of that theme coming through, but here's where we have to actually figure out, how do we embrace the shift of energy? If you've been used to slogging and kind of climbing up the mountain, and it's been a really arduous, test of endurance for so long, how do you now shift gears? And perhaps you've already started to implement some of the changes that you need to make life feel a little bit lighter to you, but this is where you get to really take some time to reconnect with yourself and who you feel you now are and what you need to honor to improve that sense of joy, improve that sense of connection in your life. I think if you are a Taurus who is set to reconnect, there is some loving, heartfelt communication I feel that's coming forward. But High Priestess for me, right in the middle of these two cards, are suggestive that it's important that you are wise and discerning, and that you don't kind of apply the rose-tinted glasses and sort of forget everything that you've been through and what you've learned and how you had begun to apply that, right? So if something comes up unexpectedly and sort of takes you off guard, you may well find that there is a moment where you are being given the opportunity to show up in a different way. And I think that you will. I see that. I see Taurus energy like really deciding, no, I'm not going back to that dynamic. I don't want to be that person. And even where it's situations that you're welcoming, if you do want to reconnect with a certain idea, a certain person, I think you're definitely choosing how to invest your emotional energy, and you're staying quite grounded. I do feel you are keeping your cards really close to your chest. Both High Priestess and Four of Pentacles are telling me that you're not really ready to share or to open up too soon. I think that's fine. I think wait and see what the lay of the land looks like. This is a deep dive month for you, where you are having to line up and rediscover what's important to you. And before you decide to communicate or, share that out to the world, you get to have that quiet moment of just really feeling into it. And I think that's going to be important. And, on the 7th of February, Venus moves into the sign of Aries, which is kind of an interesting placement for her. And it's also in your 12th house. So I think that's kind of a slightly interesting dynamic, because Venus in Aries is very bold, it's quite flirtatious, it's quite playful, but in your 12th house, that's about the healing quality, about the more secretive side, you know, that kind of behind closed doors, more of the subconscious, like what you need to release, what you want to let go of. So we have this bold cardinal energy that wants to reach out and connect in a certain way, but traveling through your 12th, so you kind of want to do it on the down low or almost in quite a secretive way. So I think perhaps some of you may be reconnecting or revisiting something, but really being quite closed about it, you know, not wanting to tell too many people, you know, perhaps making plans behind closed doors. I think that's really coming from a place of protection, coming from a place of just needing to feel into the energy and make sure that actually what's showing up you can trust, and you can really see where it wants to take you before you decide or before you come to a conclusion about what it represents. But this profound sense of wisdom really helping. Yeah, I think there is this trust issue that's coming forward. Okay, 7 of Swords. So whatever is being thrown up, I think you are perhaps slightly doubtful of. And sometimes, you know, we have that Wheel of Fortune energy coming in, talking about the incoming blessings that are meant to come your way, the opportunity for life to really start to change for the better. And yet there's a part of you that's probably still feeling a little bit uncertain and dubious. And, you know, I think for some of you, rightly so, you know, you've maybe been through a set of experiences and circumstances that, you know, things haven't worked out or panned out, or expectations haven't been met or realised, or people haven't followed through, you know, in terms of words and actions. And so there is this sense of, I'm not quite ready. I'm not quite ready to tell you whether I'm on board here or not. Of course, this aspect of trust always comes in powerfully with ourselves as well. So there's a note that comes through about this energy conversation, Taurus, that's asking you, where are you still feeling doubtful about your ability to follow through with something, or your ability to realize something? You know, maybe out of this eclipse season and out of these huge energy shifts, you've come to a very powerful new vantage point that says, okay, I'm really understanding what needs to happen now, but I'm not sure that I have what it takes to make it happen, to be able to truly manifest it. And if you're not careful, I think that can really pull you back into some heavier energy through that retrograde period that your guides are wanting to pull you back out of, okay? I mean, if we look at what that mercurial aspect of that transit can deliver for you, it's really about the opportunity to change some of the thought forms. And in Pisces, it's the emotional thought forms, it's how we're triggered, it's where we're holding that wound that's stopping us or perhaps limiting us, or creating a resistance or a contrast that's not really helpful for all of the bountiful blessings that this Wheel of Fortune wants to deliver for you, right? Yeah, 5 of Cups energy. I do just think this is where something is being reactivated within you through the course of February, and I don't really see it as what the future pathway is presenting. I just think it is literally almost a chance for you to reset, okay? So where there has been loss, where there has been a sense of mourning or grieving or a disappointment that's been really difficult to let go of, Taurus, and perhaps you've wanted to revisit it over and over again, but what you've realized is that going back into the place of the wound isn't really working anymore. It's not really giving you any comfort. It's not really teaching you anything. It has nothing more to offer you, because you've moved past that stage of emotional energy. Your frequency's already shifted, and we have to honor that. So this is where these 2 cups that are still very much present here standing, that, you know, we need to turn around and look in the direction of them, okay? And, you know, perhaps there is a situation where you feel that someone really has let you down. I also have the sense of you perhaps like looking for an apology from somebody, Taurus. Are you going to get it? I think there's every possibility with that unexpected energy of the Wheel of Fortune guiding this month for you. What I'm going to say to you though is when you do receive it, I'm not sure it's really going to make the difference that you think it might, because actually I just think you're ready to move in a different direction and to start off with a new pathway. So beautiful Ace of Pentacles energy, and this is far more what I see in terms of what's ahead for you. This is about the reward time coming in, Taurus. This is about you showing yourself what you're worthy of, being prepared to make the changes, and now starting to get the ideas and the inspiration, calling on that wisdom and really just owning it and moving off in the direction that you want to. There's a beautiful sense of vitality that comes in with that. I feel for many of you from a financial abundance perspective, new opportunities are presenting themselves. I think if you are looking particularly to invest in something, obviously retrograde's never a great time for signing of contracts and you know, sort of signing up to things. However, I think that you will get inspiration. There will be discussions and conversations, and you may well be revisiting something that had come up you know, back in 2019. If that is the case, I think you can be in a state of readiness and preparing for what comes next as we move further into Pisces season. And Pisces is your 11th house, so it is very much about how you want to connect, what you have to say, and how you want to take it out to the world, you know, drawing on that technology aspect of things, using your uniqueness to really set yourself apart. So for those of you with a career and focus in and around your work and your business, I think February is set to give you the opportunity to reset, make some adjustments, but also get some powerful new ideas based on what you've learned. I think from a relationship perspective, there's an opportunity here to come back in on more of a level of friendship. It's going to take time to rebuild something. If there are those of you who have experienced some separation or some kind of relationship challenges of late, Four of Swords energy is also, again, you know, talking about the need for you to just have some quiet time, some sacred space and energy to recharge and find that sense of renewal. A lot of these cards coming through for me are really about you going within to find the answers that you need. I don't really see there being anyone that has anything profound to say to you. I think it's about you being the one that has words of wisdom to gift others through this month of February. But if you're not ready to do that and you need a little bit longer to kind of allow the recovery, the healing, or the kind of recalibration to take place, you need to go right ahead and do that, is what I want to say. I do feel like, you know, there is a sense of kind of mourning and grieving that's coming through quite strongly. And, you know, from a spiritual perspective, this is about the shedding that's taken place powerfully. You know, I think that conjunction with Saturn and Pluto, you know, it's activated and helped all of us to sort of come to a real point of realization about what we need to let go of. And sometimes, even though we know we need to do it, there's still a sense of loss as we go through that adjustment in that process. But I think for others that have literally had that physical sense of mourning or grieving, either losing a relationship or, you know, a loved one or a business, or, you know, eclipse seasons can bring those powerful ending and closures that we're not always prepared for. And if that is the case, again, there's this time of renewal and sort of just needing to take care of yourself in a really compassionate way through this month. Seven of Pentacles energy, which always feels very Taurian to me, because I think it's about you really starting to reap the rewards of the hard work, the effort, the energy that you've invested into something. Okay, it might not come about in the way that you expected, because Wheel of Fortune is going to deliver those blessings, you know, very connected into Jupiter, into that beautiful Capricorn energy as we move through 2020 in your 9th house. So it is set to deliver, but I have the feeling that it's not going to be what you maybe had on your vision board a few weeks ago or even a few months ago. So just be open-minded to that, is what I want to say. If you can have your heart and your mind open to how things can come in that are even better than what you expected, then I think you're going to be able to navigate through some of these energies that may reactivate some old wounds, you know. the thing is, if you are looking to reunite or reconcile with an old idea, an old business partner, an old romantic relationship during this retrograde season, it has to be on a new level. It can't be on a wound to wound. That's not going to work anymore. You know, we have to come in on a heart to heart level. It has to come in on a, you know, a transcended frequency, so that what you then get to experience moving forward allows you to deploy the wisdom that you've gained. Otherwise, you're just going backwards, and that is going to feel, believe me, really uncomfortable for you. And I just don't think that you'll even be able to settle for it. Fragments. Okay, so here's the note that comes through with this card for me is I think it's really important in February for you, Taurus, to actually call a lot of your energy back in. Because I do feel that whatever set of circumstances and experiences you've been going through, whether you've really, you know, invested heavily into your work or your family or a relationship, it's drained you. It's really drained you. And this is the time of recovery. And so what can you do to really center yourself and not split your energy across too many things? I have a sense of you kind of really clearing out and prioritizing through the month of February, so that there may be 2 or 3 things that you decide, this is absolutely what I want to go for, and this is where I want to put all of my time and energy. And I think that if you do that and you take that tact after having given yourself the opportunity to rest and reflect, there's something that's really special going to come out of that for you. Really, really special. So trust where you're getting these powerful intuitive hits. That High Priestess is really holding court over your whole reading, saying that you do know what's right for you. You will receive these powerful messages throughout the month of February. What you choose to do with them and how you decide to act is going to dictate the type of experience that you have through this month. Absolutely, hold your vision. Fixed moon, I mean, you are a fixed sign, Taurus, so this is welcoming as a message for you. But I think the only thing I would add to this is your vision might have changed. Your vision might have changed, so you have to take the time to tune in and figure out if it has, right? And that's okay. Absolutely, it's okay, because now you might realize, actually that person that I wanted, I don't really want them anymore, or that job that I thought looked so good on paper, you know, really doesn't inspire me too much now, or the idea of extending my family on reflection is perhaps not something that I'm really ready for at this moment in time. So that's where your wisdom comes in. That's where this time to really reflect and figure out who you are now in this new paradigm, you know, this new meeting point of energies that we find ourselves in, and calling all your energy back in. You can come from a really centered place. So what you have to say is going to be profound this month, even if it's initially just to yourself. I think more as we move into March, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, that's when you're really going to be opening up and communicating that new vision to everybody else, and watch how things change. Because, you know, as an earth sign, okay, things sometimes take that little bit longer, and you don't want to rush and you don't want to charge forward. But when you do decide, then it's powerful and everybody's going to notice. So I hope this has given you some insight and clarity for the month of February, Taurus. I'm going to go ahead and pull us some clarifying cards. If you want to join me for the extended reading, we'll go into this in a bit more detail, see what further messages they have for us in this month of February. So Page of Cups is bringing through 7 of Wands. Another 7 of Swords here. There's something that you still feel like you maybe got a bit of a fight on your hands, or a bit of a battle that you're going through with someone or something. And there is a clearing energy that I pick up through this month. 4 of Pentacles again over the High Priestess. Definitely feel like you're keeping a really close counsel on this. I'm not surprised actually, because with the emergence of the 7 of Swords, you know, I think there is probably a question mark over whether, you know, there are 1 or 2 individuals that maybe are not as trustworthy around you as they should be right now. So I can understand that, you know, you perhaps need to take the time just to really figure out how you feel. 9 of Pentacles. Okay, there's a real lovely opening up of what's to come for you. And the future looks really bountiful. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, moon energy coming through with the Six of Cups. Makes sense because it's that hazy confusion of retrograde, looking back, trying to figure something out. You know, perhaps that Seven of Swords energy is connected to this. So what happened? Am I fully in the picture? You know, what I'm going to say to you though is don't waste the time and energy through February trying to go back and figure out the details of something that's been and gone. This is about forward motion now. Devil energy coming through with Four of Pentacles. Could be a Capricorn energy that is showing up. We may also be dealing with you really allowing yourself the opportunity to release some old attachments and toxicity. You know, parts of your, oh, that Queen of Swords is flipped and wants to come out. We'll add her in the mix here as well. So it could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius that's also involved here. But I see to some extent this is also the face that you're putting to the outside world through February, Taurus. So even if underneath the surface there's a huge amount of emotions, you know, running deep, I feel that you're still able to hold a very cool, calm composure, which is necessary actually, because I feel like you don't want to play your cards. So Two of Swords, but there is indecision, you know, there's choices and options on the table for you. Seven of Pentacles. Ten of Swords, okay. Ace of Pentacles, Three of Swords. Huge clearing, purification energy coming up here. Knight of Swords. Was there a dream that you had with somebody and it's not panned out the way you expected, whether it be business or relationship? We'll explore that a bit more in the extended if that's your experience. Four of Swords is bringing through Judgment. Ace of Wands. You have a real kind of contrast of energy. Ten of Pentacles coming through here in this reading. Fragments bringing through Six of Swords. Okay, let's hold one more. Three of Cups for the fixed moon. Okay, Taurus, thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to continue the conversation with the extended, the link is in the description box below. Otherwise, sending you beautiful blessings for the month of February, and I look forward to touching base with you next month. Bye for now.